Say nothing.
Nah, don't talk about don't talk about
Don't
Trump.
say nothing crazy,
Don't
right?
talk about Trump. You got CIA
Don't say
listening.
nothing about who, Barack Obama? I didn't say nothing about Barack Obama.
Yeah, that's good.
What? What? Man, play that thing again, man. What's up with the microphone, bro? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I done got a new goddamn toy. Is this record or what is it? Oh, is that a picture? Uh-oh, I'm gonna start a live video on Instagram. What you saying? Don't look above your head. Look at the camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your host, Joaquin Thompson Sr., coming to you live from. Oh, man.
Liburn. Come on, say it.
Man,
Say it like you mean it. Liburn.
Say it.
Liburn.
Who?
Liburn.
Wait a minute.
Liburn.
Where we at?
Liburn.
Where we at?
Liburn.
Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
Liburn.
Wait a minute, man. Where we at?
Liburn.
Hey, man, where we at, bro?
Liburn.
Hey, man. Hold up, man. Hold up.
What's going on?
Hey, hold up, man. Hold up, man. We coming to your live room.
Liburn.
Hold up, man. Hold up, man. We on something new, man. We doing.
Liburn. You know where we at? Liburn.
Hold up, man. We got some people. We got some new people, man. They joined for the first time, man.
Well, tell them we in Liburn.
All right, man.
Yeah. Want to say it again?
Okay.
All right,
Man. All right.
You know where we at, don't you?
Yeah, we
Liburn.
we coming to you live, bro.
Say it. Liburn.
All right, man. Hold up, bro. Let me get the show kicked off, bro. I'm your host, Joaquin Thompson Sr., and we're coming to you live from
Liburn.
And this is episode
95.
Oh!
All of them ain't been in Liburn, though.
Man, episode 95.
Mm-hmm.
Man, don't that just have like a ring to it? Like, dang, how you do 95 episodes?
Man,
bro?
look here.
Man.
Hold on.
Anyway. So, for those of you that are joining for the first time, my name is Joaquin Thompson Sr. I'm the host of the Daily Bread Radio Show, and this is our 95th episode.
This is Wally Amos, and you are listening to the Daily Bread Radio. It's the best in radio.
Man, that's my thing there, man.
Hi, my name is Kobe. You're listening to my papa on the Daily Bread Radio Show.
I'm done. That's it.
Man, that's it, man. We good. We
I'm
good,
I'm
man.
done.
Look, man. So we doing something new. Man, it's episode 95, and bro, I mean, we only got 5 to go.
Mm-hmm.
We got 96. Next week we got a young lady coming on. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but Sadia Nairobi. She's going to be our guest next week, and she's going to come in and tell her story. She has a great story, young lady. She's a professional dancer with the likes of Beyonce, Jay-Z, Usher, Sierra, a lot of big talents. She uses her talent to just travel all around the world. And she has a new book that just came out. So she's going to be on the show talking about her new book. And, we're really looking forward to, God continuing to bless us with, quality talent on every show. So we're definitely excited about having her on the show next week. And that'll be episode 96. So then we'll have 4 to go. But for those of you that are joining for the first time, my name is Joaquin Thompson Sr. Again, I'm the host of the Daily Bread Radio Show, and this is a show about personal finance. Some people call it financial literacy, synonym, one and the same. And what we do on the Daily Bread Radio Show is we teach and talk about and discuss and debate and work out all different topics about personal finance. That's all we talk about. But we do it from a spiritual perspective. We don't do religion on the Daily Bread Radio Show. So I know we trying something new tonight. I'm going live on Instagram. I just got on Instagram this week.
What?
Instagram, bro. Ain't nobody said that yet, so
Okay, it's coming.
it's coming. But it's already here. What you mean it's coming? It's already here, man.
I mean, your people coming.
He just told me to.
They're coming.
He just told me to. He just said turn it on, man. So the only thing I'm doing, I'm just turning it on. Now who come, who don't? Hey, we had that one. We got one. We got Big D and Teresa on Facebook. We on Instagram, and we got the whiteboard. We got got my lovely bride of 28 years in the audience. Looking all cute. What's your name, girl? What's your name, girl?
What your name is?
What's your name, girl? So we got oh no, look. We got the first lady.
What your name is?
We got the first lady in the house tonight. So the first lady is here joining us live in the studio. So it's going to be an outstanding show. And, we just being blessed, man. Just a recap over the last 7 days. Last week, Thursday, did Morehouse College and had the opportunity to speak to some of the Morehouse men speak to them about student loan debt. We talked about credit. We talked about savings. We talked about new hire benefits. And then we wrapped it all up with budgets, talked about budgets. And that was a phenomenal opportunity to pour into them young men and answer some of their questions that they had about personal finance. That was last Thursday. Then come back last Saturday morning, we did the Shape Up event. The Shape Up event was an event that was hosted by the Hammond House Museum here in Atlanta. And for those of you all that are not familiar with the Hammond House is a African American owned, it's owned by, city now, but it's African owned and operated museum. It was donated. It was the house of an African American anesthesiologist that liked to collect art. And what he did was when he passed away, in his will, he put in his will that he wanted that his house to be preserved and all of the artifacts in his house to be preserved. And what they did was it got converted into a museum. But last Saturday, they had a great event. It was called a Shape Up event. And right now, they have an exhibit where they have men they have photos of photography from people from all over the world. And it's about fashion. And it's about black men in fashion. So they're showing brothers from Brazil to Africa to America to the UK to Nigeria, all over, and just different styles, but it's just black men in style. So we was teaching young men about style, we was teaching them about dress, we was teaching them about grooming, how to tie a tie, but then they brought me in to talk to them about personal finance, and I was just blown away. Young men was from 12 to 21, and really it started at 6, because I remember Alexander, because he was younger than my grandson. But so 6 to 21, and we gave I had 2 different sessions that I did for personal finance. So poured into them young men, and then last Saturday night, we did the Real Women Atlanta magazine was celebrating 400 years of Black women excellence. And I was the host of that event. And only thing I can say is, Steve Harvey, if you know him, if you got Steve Harvey number, if you know Steve Harvey ain't got nothing on me. My skill set on being a host is, man, next to none. Next to none. I mean, it was an incredible event. And I was the co-host. My co-host was Amanda Cooper. She's the news anchor on WAOK. So we did the hosting duties. We had several presenters, I mean, just a great event. So that was the last 7 days, and then we come back. Now I'm doing episode 95. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the news. So from a personal finance standpoint, everything to me is related to personal finance. So one of the things, I mean, I would be remiss if we didn't just jump right in and start talking about this whole scandal with Varsity Blues. I had a friend of mine, he called me before I took the time out to, look at the news, and he called me and said, "Hey man, did you hear about the scandal?" I was like, "What scandal? What's going on?" But when I read it, I was like, "Oh goodness, that is crazy. That's crazy." But everybody has a different opinion about it. Everybody has a different take on it. But for me, I think the biggest thing was, it just really shows you, how insensitive people can be when it comes to greed and privilege. And greed and privilege, many times, are the byproducts of the ultra rich. So even though you have, you're in the top 0.1%, not the top 1%, you're in the top 0.1% of wealth in this country. You have all of the houses that you can have, you have all of the cars, all of the trips, you have all of the, everything that you have, and you still, even after all of that, you still feel the need to be disingenuous and take advantage of people that don't have the same opportunities that you have. Like, if you have all of that and your son or daughter can't get a score on an ACT or an SAT, and you're willing to pay $400,000, $500,000. One couple paid $1.2 million to guarantee their daughter's admission to a college. $1.2 million. That's crazy. And here we are. But we struggling, trying to get our kids through. A lot of us are still first generation graduates from, college. And now here's somebody that has everything, access to everything, and you still want to be greedy. So, my wife and I was talking about it, and was talking about whether or not, people will go to jail. It's federal because the FBI were doing the majority of the arrests. A lot of people have been indicted this week. But my personal feeling is this. I feel like they all should do, some time, right? Because when you break the law, like, you knew what you was doing, number one, was criminal, number one. Number two, you didn't have it to do. Number three, and this is the biggest issue, number three, for every one of those students that were part of that program, there was another student that was not able to be admitted to that university. For every one of them that went to the university that was admitted, it don't matter if they paid $400,000 or $500,000. Think about the student out there that is just straight struggling, trying to better their life, trying to better the life of their family members, their parents, working hard, working 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 jobs, just trying to get their student in position to go to college. And then here comes, like I would normally say, here come this joker. Just because you got some money to throw around, you gonna just step on my daughter like that? Are you gonna step on my son like that? That don't make sense. I mean, it really don't make sense. But the deeper meaning for me is this. I want us to start thinking multi-generational. So 2 generations from now, if something like this was to come up, I don't want us to be on the other end where we're paying 1.2 million or 400,000 for our kids to go. But I want us to have financial strength where we're not paying for our kids to go to college, but we can pay for our kids to go to college, right? We're gonna get out of the, the loan, that debt trap. I mean, I'm in it. Many people, and I'm in my 50s. Hey, it ain't no need to hide. And that's why we do the Daily Bread Radio Show. There's no need to hide behind what?
The ones that graduated,
What law?
should they degree be taken away from them because they didn't get in the right
That's
way?
on their parents. I mean, I don't know. They got admitted, right? But admission, when you graduate, that means you met the requirements to graduate.
But you didn't have to meet the requirements to get in, though.
You'll never know if they met the requirements to get in because you went through a back door. You went through a side door. So you don't. I mean, some of these kids could have very well had the aptitude to do it. So if you have enough academic, prowess to go through the curriculum and complete it, and you get your degree, then yeah, I mean, that's on you. You get your degree, you doing your thing. But I mean, my thing is, enough is enough. It's like, why be greedy, right? Why not just? I mean, every time that we think that we're in the game or we're making strides, you hear about something like this and like, man, let alone go to college. I mean, I would just like to have a 1.2 to just invest or do something with it, or, I mean, something. I mean, we just, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's so many levels of just, and like I said, to me, it boiled down to greed and privilege. Because if it wasn't about greed and privilege, people wouldn't even be, people wouldn't even be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is like, it's just crazy. The whole thing to me was crazy, man. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why we was doing it. I mean, it's just a crazy deal to me. And I think that it's just gonna make it should wake people up too, to like what I'm talking about, because a lot of stuff that I'm talking about, a lot of things that we're doing in the world, unfortunately, like the Daily Bread Radio Show, I talk to people all the time about. I've been talking to people almost 20 years about this thing called personal finance, and I still talk to people, and it's like they don't believe it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I hear you. It's like, I hear you, but that ain't important. And I'm like I told them brothers down at Morehouse, the next protest, the next movement, it's going to be economic. Because right now, in America, we've been talking about this, right now in America, the wealth gap is getting wider and wide. It's getting so wide, and it's happening all around us. But I mean, I don't think people have an appreciation for that it's taking place, because it's so subtle. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like gaining weight. You know what I'm saying? You know how you be doing stuff, you don't even realize you're gaining weight. Like, man, these pants are a little tighter, but I can keep on. It's kind of like that, so subtle. But if you read the key indicators about wealth, about disparity, about that debt, I mean, student loan debt is taking people out by itself. That's just one cancer by itself. It's a means to an end. I get it. I have them now. I don't apologize for having them, because I look at mine just like investing in a McDonald's, right? I put up a certain amount of money for my education, and when I put my money up for, you have something that's called return on investment, and that's what I talked to them kids about last week. So whenever you put up your money, you got to just think about the return on investment. You can't complain about the money that it cost you to get into a game. It ain't no need. You can't complain about that. So if you still holding the bag, I still got to pay the loan back. Okay, but the numerator, the denominator is a set amount. That's how much you paid to get into the game. The numerator, that top piece that you're gonna divide into, that number's so big that I can't complain about that. I mean, I've been able to raise a family, do some other things, do business. I mean, support my livelihood, my household, my wife, my kids. And so I ain't gonna complain about it. And that's what I told them kids. Like, don't complain about that because you're gonna buy a car. They say the average person between 25 and 35 is gonna buy 5 cars, right? So if you bought 5 cars and the average car is $25,000 a piece, right? You just spent $125,000. It's something that has no value, like zero value, right? So I don't apologize for that. It's a game. This whole thing we doing, we just playing this big game.
Got something for you.
All right,
This right here is gonna take 49 seconds.
49 seconds. All right, I'll let it play.
Because we're entering the age of AI, we're gonna have self-driving cars and trucks in 5 to 10 years. 30% of malls are gonna close in the next 4 years, thanks to Amazon. 2.5 million call center workers in the US are gonna get replaced by AI. There was a study in The Guardian that said the median African-American household net worth is going to be 0 by 2053, like in 34 years. You guys see that study?
No.
Well, yeah, you should look it up. And so why are they forecasting that African-American net worth is going to go to 0? It's because of this economic tidal wave that is coming. This economic tidal wave is going to wipe out many working class jobs. And it's going to be the equivalent of a natural disaster. And we know what happens in a natural disaster. Who suffers? Poor people don't have the resources, people of color, and the same thing's going to happen in this. So
There we go.
And that was my voice. He said 20. Look, that's why I always keep this pen in my hand so y'all can, we can take notes. He said 2053. He said 2053. Next year is 2020. So, how long are we talking about? 34 years? I think he said that anyway, right? How long is 34 years? That's not even a generation. That's what I'm talking. I'm like, look, the thing you have to keep in mind is this: whenever you're talking to somebody about any subject, politics, religion, whatever you talking, personal finance, horticulture, cars, whatever you talking to them about, the one thing that's a constant is this: numbers do not lie. No, people lie. No, you can't. Numbers don't lie. And when this guy was on there talking, man, go and do the data. Look at the research. Only thing you got to look at, I had somebody else that sent me some data about, it's probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, one of my cousins, right? He sent me some data that said this. It was a certain part of the country that was, I want to say Mitchellville, it might be Mitchellville. It was an affluent part of the country where it's predominantly African American that have capital, right? He said even in their neighborhoods, their houses appreciated like 40% lower than our counterparts with the same type of house. Appreciated 40% lower. Dude, the numbers don't lie. 80. I've been saying this. I told the students at Morehouse this last week. If somebody tell you this, look, man, 80% of the people in the United States, 80% of the people in the United States have less than $1,000 in savings. You need to let that marinate. Like, what does that mean? That means, what you gonna do? When he say natural disaster, what are you how you gonna get in the game? If it costs $1,000 to get in the game, and this is something else, having this conversation with me and my wife, was watching this video, this guy's a billionaire, right? He's a billionaire 50 times over. He has a seminar that he does, and he says, look, I go around and speak all over the world for free, but if you come to my seminar at my residence, the cost is $15,000. He said it costs $15,000. He said, but when you come, you're going to come and I'm going to teach you what I've done to amass $50 million over my lifetime, where I started with 800, and I'm going to mentor you for 1 year. For $15,000? Bruh, if Warren Buffett said that tomorrow, Do you realize he wouldn't have enough space to get people? If Warren Buffett said, come out to Omaha, give me $15,000 and I'm going to train you for a week in Omaha and I'm going to mentor you for the next year. Do you realize? What? But the key is this. Would you have $15,000 to get down with Warren Buffett or this other billionaire? And his name, I'm going to just put it out there. His name is Dan Pena. If you go, you got to go watch this video, man. P-E-N-A. First name is Dan. Just Google him. Dan Pena. He's a monster. I'm going to just say it out the rip. He's a monster. He's a monster. But what he's talking about is the truth. Because he's saying it point blank. If you don't get moving on doing something in a financial space immediately, it's over. It is over. It's over. We talked about housing. This guy was talking about jobs. We talking about entrepreneurship. We talking about skill set. If you don't have a skill set to generate income, when all this AI come into play, and they start replacing people, if you don't have a skill, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna survive? Right? Me too. I'm thinking about it, so I'm trying to put all kinds of stuff, and I'm a nurse. So worst case scenario, what am I gonna be doing? Oh, it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be pretty, but if I got to go back to grabbing them them wipes and turning them patients over and goddamn wiping them butts, like, hey man, I'm a nurse, bro. I know I'm 62, but I'm a nurse, bro. They gonna be like, yeah, because we got a shortage. You can sit up front. I'll be like, bet. Yeah, bet I can do that. Yeah. So that's what we talk about, man. And I know we kind of got not so much off topic, but all of that has to do with this whole Varsity Blues thing, man. All of this. Shout out to Devin. Shout out to Nurse Lee. See, I'm on Instagram, y'all. I'm doing it on Instagram. I'm so hyped. I'm hyped, man. Hey. But, yeah, man, it's just, it's a new, I'm so hyped. You know what I'm saying? Like I done won the Super Bowl or something, man. Shoot it out to y'all friends. Give me wave. I'm waving at y'all. Do the whole thing, baby. But, real talk. I mean, and this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about on the show. Like, people saying, man, listen. And look, I had a whole bunch of topics I was going to talk about, but let me break something down for y'all so y'all understand what we talk about. Let me say it like this. Man, what's up with the microphone?
Why you touching the phone?
Damn, you can't touch the microphone?
No, it's picking you up.
Listen, man. Let me tell you like this, bro. Let me tell you like this. We got to change this. See this big old head, man. I know my head, man. Look at my hairline, bro. My hairline all like the coast of Africa. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But listen to this, man. If a billionaire tells you, I'm gonna give you the game for $15,000. I'm gonna give you not only am I gonna give you the game, and you could go and look, bruh, you could go and research it yourself. This man said, look, I'm gonna give you the game, but if you quit on yourself, I will put you out the program. So I'm gonna hold you accountable. And I'm going to give you an activity to do for 1 year. And I'm giving you the game. I'm going to give it to you for $15,000. Now, people say, $15,000? You know what you should be doing? You should be going down to the credit union and trying to get a loan for $15,000.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't buy no car. You shouldn't be buying no more jewelry. You shouldn't be buying no more, going on no, you shouldn't be coming to homecoming. When your homeboys call you, say, hey, bro, you coming to homecoming? You need to say, blank, no, I'm headed. Hey, wait, what you doing? I'm saving to go and spend this money with this billionaire that's going to give me this game.
Billionaire, he don't need your money.
He don't need your money. He already got money. He don't need your money. You right. He don't need my money, but guess what? It's called return on investment.
Exactly.
It's called return on it. Man, listen, I done told y'all this a million times on this show. If you ever get the opportunity to put your money with a billionaire money, you need to do it.
Yep.
And I'm telling you fact. Bruh, you got to learn how to read in between the lines. You got to learn how to read. Just read what's. If a billionaire come in your area and say, look, we getting ready to buy all this and put it in a mall and do. If an opportunity come up and they say, well, we looking for some, seed investors, 22,000, 1,000. You know what you need to be doing? Running down that mud. Like, I'm going down to put my money. If you put your money with a billionaire, guess what? A billionaire ain't trying to lose a penny.
That's right.
A billionaire ain't trying to lose a penny. So if you put your money with his, right? You good, right? But not even that. Let's take it a little deeper, man. I'm just gonna go off script, man. I got all my little topics here. Man, forget these topics tonight, man. This is like when you go to church. Sometimes the minister get on a topic and be like, man,
The Holy Spirit.
I feel the spirit in here.
Holy Spirit take over.
Look, man, I feel the spirit in here, so we go. I ain't gonna do the. Ooh. Hey, man, listen, man, listen. Even if, say if you go, okay, so here goes somebody, this is how they thinking. Man, they gonna probably, that's probably a scam. Okay, all right, you right. But if I put my $15,000 down and I go over there, I'm not even talking about he's gonna teach you for a week and the mentoring for a year, right? Think how much the value of 1 hour of a billionaire's time is. Calculate that, 1 hour. Just say he make $1 billion a year. Go and calculate how many hours in a year and divide that into $1 billion. And he said but even deeper than that, what if you could pick your phone up and be like, they doing what in Atlanta? Oh, they getting ready to build a whole new, and you give them that look like, oh shit, I got somebody I can call. You call your billionaire mentor and say, hey, they getting ready to do such and such. How much is it gonna cost? It's gonna be $200 million, and they need $40 million down. And if he say, all right, I'm on the way. Is it worth 15,000? Man, we got to start thinking like that. People out here, man, we'll spend $1,500 to go to homecoming and don't come back with nothing. We don't come back with nothing, but hey, man, leave that mess alone, man. And we got to start, because it's all up here. It's all in your mind. It's all in our mind. So when I start talking about multi-generational, the way we got to start thinking is the way that our grandparents was thinking. 2 generations ago, our grandparents was like, you know what? I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 70s. Ain't no college for me. I know it ain't no college for me. Ain't no college for Sam. Sam ain't gonna be able to go. So me and Sam ain't gonna be able to go to college because he older than me. Sam's 75, I'm 70. But my grandkids going to college. My grandkids getting an education. That's our generation. And the generations that's behind us. So now we seeing all this going on. We need to take the same vigor, have the same mindset and say, you know what? I get it. We losing jobs. AI is on its way. We getting outpriced in the market. I need to start putting away some money because my grandson, and this how you have to think. My grandson, I'm hoping this billionaire be around in 10 years. I'm hoping he live another 10 years, at least another 10 years. I hope he live longer than that. I hope he live 20 years, 30. I don't care, but at least 10. You know why? No, at least 13. You know why? Because I have an 8-year-old grandson, and I got a 4-year-old granddaughter. I got a 25-year-old daughter, I have a 27-year-old son and a 28-year-old daughter. I would give $15,000 for each one of them. 5. So how much is that? $65,000? You don't think I would put $65,000 to put 3 kids and 2 grandkids in front of a billionaire for him to give them the game and teach them how this world really? Because what we seeing, this ain't what's really happening. This ain't what we see with our eye. This is not what's really going on. If you a billionaire, you see this whole thing, this don't look like nothing but one big chessboard. This look like a big chessboard too. This don't look like no 9 to 5. This don't look like no, my car broke down. Oh, the lights. No. Billionaire he's seeing this at a whole nother, all them stadiums that they building. Think about it. In the next 30 years, every NFL team, you got to be paying attention. Every NFL team in the next 30 years is going to have a new stadium. Yep. And look how they do it. Hey, Arthur, you build a new stadium, in 2 years we bring the Super Bowl. Oh, bet. Arthur Blake built the stadium, 2 years later the Super Bowl here. They got a new stadium they built in LA. When is the Super Bowl going to be in LA? 2021. The stadium don't open till next year. The Super Bowl will be in LA 2021. That ain't coincidental. That's goddamn ultra rich people running this whole thing, man. So if we ain't got it now, just think multi-generational. Like, I ain't got it. My grandson, I want him to be in that. I want him to be a billionaire. I want him to be a billionaire. So if it took me $65,000 to put him in there, I'll borrow it. I'll borrow $65,000 as opposed to buying a new Navigator, Escalade, 750 BMW, and all that. Bro, that's foolishness, man. We on some other stuff, man. And that's what's gonna take us there. All of our kids, smart, doing all this. We want them to get the same exposure. That's why them people doing that stuff with that Varsity Blues. They doing it because they can. Don't nobody regulate them. When you got a bunch of money, you know what comes with money? Power. And when you got the amount of money that they have, they got power. They ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. Power. This Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, this is power. So if you don't have a show, you need to get a show. I don't care what it is, get a show. Let's get to the point where we can monetize it. Let's get to the point where we can get some sponsorship, take that money, parlay. That's what people used to call it. Take that money, parlay. So I know I got just way off script, man, but that's just, man, that's where it's at. If you young, if you under the age of 30, this man had, listen, this billionaire had kids in his class, 17 years old, 18 years old, 21 years old. Bruh. And these cats coming out making, they doing deals 30, 40 million, 100 million, 200 million. Because billionaires have a different network than we have, man. They in a different network. So now you in the network for $15,000. That's pennies. But, so, look, I digressed for 35 minutes, but it was worth it, bro. It was worth it. So before I forget or I run out of time or I do whatever, because I got all excited, man. I got on Instagram this week. I'm using my Instagram. I'm going to use my YouTube. I'm going to use my Facebook. I'm using everything I got to let God use me to show people like, hey, man, and I'm going to keep talking about what I'm talking about, personal finance. Talking to young, old, hey, we got some programs coming up. We got some new curriculums for students. We sending, man, don't even get me on that. We sending students to college out of high school, don't know nothing about credit. They know zero about credit. Not only do they know zero about the credit, the professor at the college knows zero about credit. The president at the college Zero. Zero, zero, zero. What about savings? I just said 80% of the people in the U.S. less than 1,000. So if you got less than 1,000 in savings, how confident would you feel getting up in front of somebody telling them how to save $1,000, $1,500? What about 12,000? What about 12,000? Could you tell somebody how to save 12,000? Huh? That's what I'm talking about. 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. That ain't even, man, come on, man. We better than that. We just scratching the surface. So all them kids that's going into college, I'm sending proposals, I'm pitching. If you know some people on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I just did Morehouse last week. That was just the beginning. Now I went back over there today. They was like, oh, would you mind being a mentor? I'm like, I don't mind being a mentor. I do this for real. This ain't no show. Anybody that know me, every day I'm talking family, personal finance, every day. Family and personal finance. Every day. Every subject. My kids come over, they talk about food or this, then I'll be like, what about, I'll find some kind of way to weave it in there about personal finance. That's just, they be like, yeah, well, what time we going? I'll be like, ooh, how much is that going to be? Ooh, do what? Say, oh, you got a new skirt? Oh, okay. Where you get that at? Oh, okay. How much you pay for that? Oh, okay. How much you got in savings? So it ain't just for y'all. I see my daughter on, Nurse Nia. Y'all go check out her page too, man. Go check out Nurse Nia. In the Break Room with Nurse Nia. Just, man, Google that, Instagram, YouTube. Go check her out, man. Go check out Design by JT. Go check him out. You need graphic arts of any sort, any kind, anything. Go check him out. Design by JT. Go check that out. Instagram. He doing all these big podcasts, man, go check them out. Nurse Nia, go check her out. She has her own, she's a nurse, and she has a show where she's teaching people about the nursing profession. And it's all about nursing, it's all about lifestyle, it's all about culture. That's the Family Hustle. And we about to bring the Amazing Cakes back out, y'all. I know y'all was waiting on me to say that. Y'all was waiting, I know y'all, I could feel it. I was like, they waiting on me to say something about that red velvet cake. They waiting on me to say something about that key lime, caramel, amaretto, Italian cream. I know y'all don't even know nothing about no Italian cream. I'm not even gonna say nothing to y'all. Y'all don't know nothing about no caramel cake.
No.
When y'all put that butter in there and sugar and you just stir that mug. You stir that mug to your arm like got there Jim Brown. Like, God damn. And my wife just say what? Keith Stein. I said, hey, my phone. I said, hey, one of the kids called it Keith Stein. I was like, damn.
About to fall out.
I'm like, damn, one of my arms bigger than the other one. Keith Stein. Bruh, that's the Family Hustle. Other daughter got there. Ask the millennial agent. If you got a question, concern, you want to be educated about insurance, car, home, auto, look up, ask the millennial agent. Me, Amazing Cakes, Nurse Nia, Designed by JT, and Ask the Millennial Agent. That's everybody in the house. Now we're working on them little two, the two grandkids. Kobe, he already told me, he's like, I need me a YouTube channel. He 8. And I'm gonna get him a YouTube channel. You know why? Because I start teaching him about personal finance, and now everybody that talked to him, he got one. If you meet my grandson, he got one question for you. Do you have some stock? Soon as he meets you, you can tell him whatever you do. Hey, I'm an attorney. Hey, I'm Bill Gates. I'm this. He gonna look at you. He gonna shake your hand. He gonna say, "Nice to meet you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." The next one, you gonna say, "You got any questions?" He gonna say, "Yeah, I got a question. Do you own some stock?" Because when he say it, he gonna look at you. And if you my age 52 and you looking at him, you like, damn, not really. You need to get on it. That's what I'm up here sweating, bro. I love what I do. I'm gonna be doing this from now on. I'm doing this Take me to the.
Uh-oh.
Take me. Let me get.
No, nigga. No.
Take me.
Keep talking, brother. Keep
Take me to the.
Keep talking, brother. Keep talking.
No, man, that's real though, man. That's what we gotta do, man. And that ain't even correct grammar. We got to get on this personal finance, man, with both hands and both feet and grab that thing, man. This the bet, man. This is like the Wild West. You can sell whatever you want on Instagram. You can sell whatever you want on Facebook. You can sell whatever you want on YouTube. You can get your message out. You can help some people. I'm like, man, what's going on with the internet, man? Did you pay the internet bill, bro?
Of course I did.
Oh my gosh, man. Why is flickering? Look,
No.
it's flickering.
Mine ain't flickering. Mine.
That's probably that power. We got power. 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 Hey man, I love what I do, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I love what I do, man. The only thing I'm here to do what? Educate, motivate, elevate. That's it. All right. So the book of the week, because you know we always do a book of the week, because I'm a big proponent. Now I know my billionaire friends say, I'm getting them goddamn books to get into do some action. I'm like, I got it. I'm dying. I'm coming, man. God damn. But in the meantime, and I apologize for all this stuff on this. That just, you know, my theory is don't bring no books on here that you haven't read. And this one is a classic. Look, man, I always have to bring the pain so that way you'll know, like, oh, he read this, because you know I do my stuff in the margins, bro. I take notes the whole nine. This one is a classic. You have to have this one. I mean, you probably have like audiobooks and stuff now, but you gotta have this one in your library. This is a classic. See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. Whoo! When I tell you some heat, this book right here, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar, bruh, sisters, you gotta get a copy. Man, go get a copy of this book. If you read it, it's gonna talk to you about goals. It's gonna talk to you about mindset. It's gonna talk to you about everything that you need in order to be successful. And success is not just measured by money. Success, let me give you you know what the definition of success is? I'm gonna give you the simple version. The definition of success is this: the ability, the means, that means you have the means and the ability to do whatever you choose to do. That's success. It ain't got nothing to do with money, because some people got $1 million, they want 200 million. Some people got 200 million, they want $1 billion. Some people got all that and they still want their kids to go to school. And you see what I'm saying? That ain't success. Success is being able to do the means to do exactly what you want to do. So you may be wanting to go out and plant 100 trees. You may be wanting to go out and save the whales, earth warming. You may want to go out and do a missionary trip. You may want to go out and, help the needy. You may want to go out and, start your own business. You might want to be the wing king. You may want to be the car king. You may want to be the king. That's success. Beautiful marriage. You know what I'm saying? 28 years and running. That might be success. I mean, so don't just measure it by money, and don't get confused and let these people tell you about, money is the root of all evil. No. Don't, man. They done use that, bamboozle, hoodwink, run amok. Don't be like, oh, no. Don't start that. Because currency is just that. It's just a tool to be used. That's all it is. It's currency. It's flow, right? From me to you, as we doing the exchange of different things. Because if you don't have no flow,
Come on.
if you don't have no flow, if you don't have no currency, things are not going to go as planned. That's all I can tell. And I can tell you that from experience. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care who you're dating. I don't care where you going in life. If you don't have some currency, it ain't gonna happen. You know, you ain't gonna be cute but so long. You ain't gonna be. You be cute for a day or two, but after that, you're gonna be.
Wait a minute now.
Boy, I'm sure.
Shows
You like, man, your girl bad. Yeah, she bad, but God dang.
Man,
Oh, the boy, oh, he's so fine. Ah, he is fine. Woo woo.
sure like
If I can extract that joker from the couch, he'll be a lot finer. You know what I'm saying? It's currency, man. It's currency. So I'm telling you, I'm here to teach. I'm here to get a word. This was episode 95. I had all these good topics for y'all. And then next week week's gonna be off the chain. Cornbread gonna be here in person. Cornbread gonna be here in person.
And what now?
In person.
What it is?
I said in person.
What it is?
Ah! He already gonna be in next week in person. Hey, I got $1 for you. When you come next week, man, when you come in person, look, when you come in person next week, I got you. I got you, man.
Joker say he missing $1.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. I got you. I'm gonna get you the $1. Don't worry about that, man. That's what we're supposed to do. It's called collective.
I love you, man.
I love you too, baby. You know that always. So we're at the top of the hour,
He
man.
got $2 coming to him.
$2?
$2.
Man, what kind of collection is this? Man, we can do better than that,
He
man.
said he need $1. We're gonna give him 2. We're gonna double what he
Oh man, come on, man.
Come on now.
I'm about to do the Jimmy. How
Stop
Jimmy Swagger
this.
do it? I'm about to look into. Hey,
Oh
y'all.
Lord, you better. Oh Lord, don't do it. Don't you do it. No,
Look, man,
No. Don't you do it.
They told me this morning when I got up. They told me, man, listen, man, I wasn't gonna share this with y'all, man. I wasn't gonna share this with y'all.
The lights gonna flicker.
They told me this morning, man,
Oh.
if they don't send me $15,000
The lights gonna flicker.
for me to go out, I need. You like when they do that, Carl?
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't send me $15,000, they gonna take me. They gonna take me.
The lights about to flicker. The lights about to flicker.
So I don't need for $15,000 because I'm lying. I need $14,999 because I got $1 with me. Hold on. Wait a minute, hold up. What you say, baby? Okay. No, I need $14,900 because my wife just gave me $100, so I need $14,900 by next week. Are we pulling the plug on this show? This is the last time we on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and any other tube. This is it. So if y'all don't send that $14,000, I should have put it on the whiteboard. Should have wrote it up. Nah, I'm done, man. But nah, man, real talk. I mean, really, man, marinate on what we talked about tonight. We talked some serious stuff. I know I laugh and joke about a lot of things, but when it comes to personal finance and it comes to our legacy and our future and where I'm headed, where you headed, where we're headed, we got to. Martin Luther King talked about that in Operation Breadbasket. In 1965, he said the collective Negro economy was worth $30 billion in 1963. He said 30. Listen to this number, 30 billion. Today, it's estimated we're at 1.2 trillion with a T. Trillion. So if you don't have your 1,000, come work with me. I'll show you how to get your 1,000. If you don't have if your credit's not strong, come work with me. Got a perfect program for you. We can get you where you need to be credit-wise. If you got a lot of debt, or you got some debt you want to eliminate, come work with me. We can get that done. And the biggest thing is this. This is the end game to everything. Budget. I have a budget tool that's so incredible that, man, that's what I need to got there. Trademark and patent. That budget I got is it's ridiculous. And it'll tell you exactly, it'll fire off a little, alert. Like if you get out of bounds and put something in there and you starting to go negative, because if you -1, you get to the bottom line And a lot of people don't understand what the bottom line means. People use that phrase. But the bottom line means when you're looking at an income statement, top line is your sales and revenue. Then you take out your expenses. The bottom line, that is it. The bottom line is going to tell you whether or not you got a surplus or a deficit. If you have a deficit and you still spending, that's a recipe for disaster. And a lot of people are still spending and they don't realize they're in a deficit because they don't have a budget. So, hey, like the old people say, that's another conversation for another day. But I'm gonna keep y'all in tune. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Instagram, look, this is my first show on Instagram. So I'm 1 on Instagram, and I'm 95 on Facebook, and I'm 95 on YouTube. So if you know some people that should be listening to the show, make sure you share it, post it, tweet it, twack it, whatever you do, do all that. Let people know we're doing some good stuff over here at the Daily Bread Radio Show, the #1 personal finance show in the U.S., bar none. So if you know a show hotter than mine, tell them to call. If you know a show hotter than mine, tell them to call. But hey, and we got the hottest theme music, and we got the hot. Can they hear that? Man, turn it up, bro. Why you being soft with it? The people on Instagram want to hear that, man. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. That's what we do.